Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on my YouTube channel. And for today's book review, we are going to be reviewing The Very Definition of Love by Sophia Benoit. This is a historical romance, and I have never read a historical romance book before. Specifically, this one takes place in the Regency era. This was an enjoyable read. I actually gave it 4.5 stars. Now, do I think I will pick up another historical romance in the future? Maybe in the distant future, but in the current future, like in the near future, I'm gonna say no. But like I said, I still gave it 4.5 stars, and I did still find it quite enjoyable. So I was at Indigo, I want to say like a week ago. I was dropping off, I was actually putting in 3 books, 3 signed Chelsea Curtle book plates that I got for In Stormy Weather, and I picked up a couple books, one of them being Extracurricular by Rachel and Solomon. The review for that is currently out now. And I actually saw this cover, and I thought it was, I really enjoyed the cover. I thought it was a nice cover. But then I was like, oh, it's a historical romance. Okay, I'm not going to pick it up. And then I think it was the day after. I think it was on like the Saturday, because I went on the Friday to drop off the book plates. And then I think it was on the Saturday, I was still thinking about the book, but I couldn't remember the name anymore. And so then I'm like going all over the Indigo website trying to look for it, because I'm like, I'm going to order it on Amazon with my Amazon Prime. So I go on the Indigo website, and like I go under romance, and then I search under historical romance, and then I sort by like newest release, and then I just can't find it. And then I'm Googling historical romances, and of course like Bridgerton comes up, because that's like probably the most popular one. And I think Bridgerton also takes place in the Regency era, though I'm not really sure. I've never seen the show or read any of the books. So I was getting a lot of like more typical historical romances that we're kind of used to knowing, that are more popular. And then I finally was like, Google Images maybe? So then I Google Images it, and I finally find it. And I was like, yes. And then I ordered it, and then I like could not literally wait for it to arrive. So it came on Monday, and this one actually took me a little longer to read, and I think it's because it was a historical romance, so the way it's written is slightly different, and so I think it takes me a little bit more time to read it. But this was a book that once I ordered it, I could not wait for it to arrive, and it's been a while since I've had a book that's not true. I was really psyched for In Stormy Weather when that finally came, but it's been a while where I've had like a book that like I immediately discover I discover it, and then like 2 days later I'm like, I can't wait for it to arrive, I really want to read it. And this was that, and like I said, I gave it 4.5 stars. I did still quite enjoy it. So this basically follows Harriet Bancroft and Lord Alexander Sterling. Now, I don't know a ton on the Regency era, so I'm gonna probably be a little bit more vague on my like overall description of the story, just because I don't know like all the ins and outs, and so like my remembering of the details, and I don't want to get them like super wrong. But basically she's on her 5th season with no marriage prospects. Now, I don't really know what the seasons are. I don't know if the seasons are like, I think they have to do with like balls, and I think you maybe meet somebody at a ball. I think that's kind of what it is. So apparently she's on her 5th season with no marriage prospects. She has 3 other sisters. One of them is a widow. And then one of them is also able to attend the balls, but she's not on her 5th season. And then the other one is too young to attend the balls. So basically, she's like the older sister with no prospects. You know, if I'm gonna like doodle it down to modern terms. Basically, and then she decides to go to the library of the ball that she's at, because she's at a ball at somebody's house. Well, that's probably a modern way of saying it. She's at a ball at somebody's lovely mansion or estate, and she goes into the library because basically she has been conversing, obviously over letters, with a man that is writing a dictionary, and she is writing they're writing a dictionary of slang, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And so she has basically just been writing to him as H.M. Bancroft. And at first I thought, because it talks about her having an interest in the guy that she is basically writing this dictionary with, that I assumed Lord Sterling was that guy, but he wasn't, and I like quickly discovered that. So basically she's in the library, and then Lord Sterling had said that he was going to meet her sister in the library. So he goes in, the library's dark. He thinks that that she is her sister, and he realizes it's not. Then he's like talking with her because she wrote down with like the quill and ink on her arm some words that she would later want to learn the meaning of, because there are words that women just don't know the meaning of in the Regency era, but like men do. So she wants to eventually learn their meaning, and so then he ends up like grabbing her wrist, seeing that he does give her the meaning of like one word, but then tries to like wipe away the others with like his handkerchief or something. And then her sister is with a friend or somebody from the ball, walks into the library, and then sees him there holding her wrist, and basically is like, oh my goodness, you guys are engaged. And I'm like, is that really how it was in the Regency era, where like if you accidentally touched a woman's wrist, it was like assumed that you're engaged? That's how I interpreted it. And I was like, wow, that's like, wow, we don't do that today. You hold a woman's wrist, we don't even potentially assume that you're together, never mind the fact that you're engaged. So that was quite interesting. But I overall did actually like the story. So she continues to converse with the guy that she's writing like dictionary with, and like will send him words and like their meanings and stuff like that, all while she enters a marriage of convenience with Lord Alexander, because he basically wants property that he assumes her sister owns, because her sister is a widow. And so, but it turns out that like it's like basically going to go back to the state, the property, because other people like in her late husband's family are like contesting it or whatever. But at first he doesn't know that. So like she's like, well, if you want to like purchase land from my sister, you have to like marry me or something. And she kind of like kidnaps him, something like that. It's kind of an interesting story. I did enjoy it. Probably, like I said, not going to pick up another historical romance, but like I said, it was still enjoyable. And obviously he does end up like falling in love with her, and she ends up also falling in love with him, and it becomes less of a marriage of convenience and more of like an authentic marriage. So yeah, an interesting book. It was definitely different, and like I said, a good palate cleanser. Sometimes palate cleansers for me are just books that are outside of my normal genre, and this was definitely that. And so if you are hesitating on picking up a historical romance, or you've never read one, you've never read Bridgerton, like me, I've never read Bridgerton, then I would suggest you pick this one up. I think it's going to be part of a series, because on the side it does say a Bancroft Sisters novel, so I wonder if all of her sisters are eventually going to get a book. I don't know if I will pick up the other ones, but maybe I will, because it's a series, and if you know me, I typically like to do a whole series, so we shall see. It could be one of those that maybe I do, and every once in a while it does become a palate cleanser. But yeah, this was my first historical romance, and I think I had a good time with it. So that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments down below. If you would like to see more videos like this, also let me know in the comments down below. You can also hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss another brand new video from me. You can follow me at RomanceBLVD on Instagram and Threads, and at Romance Boulevard on TikTok. Until the next one, bye!